Unbelievable trial twist. Michael uncovers the hidden truth that changes Drew's fate. The courtroom in Port Charles was unusually quiet, the kind of silence that feels heavy, almost suffocating. Every seat was filled, every eye fixed on the witness stand, as if the entire town sensed that something monumental was about to unfold. No one expected the trial to take such a dramatic turn, least of all Drew. For days, the case had followed a predictable path. Accusations, counter-arguments, emotional testimonies, and carefully chosen words dominated the proceedings. Drew sat calmly beside his attorney, confident that the truth would eventually come out. But even he couldn't have imagined what Michael was about to reveal. Michael Corinthos had remained quiet throughout most of the trial. Observers assumed he was there out of loyalty, perhaps to support someone he cared about. Yet beneath his composed exterior, Michael carried a secret, one that would soon shake the courtroom to its core. As the judge called for the next witness, Michael stood up. A ripple of confusion spread across the room. Whispers echoed through the gallery. Why was Michael stepping forward now? What could he possibly add that hadn't already been said? Even Drew turned to look at him, his expression filled with concern and disbelief. Michael met Drew's gaze briefly, his eyes heavy with regret. Then he faced the judge. "Your Honor," Michael began, his voice steady but tense, "there's something the court hasn't been told yet, and I can't stay silent any longer." The air seemed to freeze. The prosecutor hesitated, clearly unprepared for this development. The defense attorney quickly arose, objecting, but the judge raised a hand, allowing Michael to continue. Michael took a deep breath. What happened to Drew wasn't random, and it wasn't what it was made to look like. Gasps filled the courtroom. Drew's heart pounded. What did Michael mean? Michael explained that he had uncovered information that directly contradicted the official version of events. Details had been overlooked, evidence had been quietly redirected, and most shocking of all, someone else had been protecting the real truth from coming out. Michael revealed that in the days leading up to the incident involving Drew, tensions were running high behind the scenes. Old grudges resurfaced, secrets threatened to explode, and someone close to the situation had everything to lose if Drew spoke freely. As Michael spoke, the courtroom grew restless. Alexis narrowed her eyes, sensing that this revelation could alter the entire case. Carly sat frozen, her face pale, while Willow struggled to process what she was hearing. Drew's confusion slowly turned into realization. Michael wasn't just sharing information, he was exposing a carefully constructed lie. According to Michael, the event that put Drew in danger was the result of manipulation. Someone had set things in motion knowing Drew would be in the wrong place at the wrong time. The blame had been redirected, conveniently landing on someone who couldn't defend themselves. The judge leaned forward, demanding clarification. Michael explained that a key witness had been pressured into changing their story. Records had been altered, and messages Michael had personally seen, proved that the truth had been buried intentionally. The courtroom erupted. The prosecutor objected again, arguing that Michael's claims were unverified, but Michael was ready. He presented documents, logs, time-stamped communications, evidence that suggested Drew was never the intended target of blame, but the intended victim of a much larger plan. Drew's chest tightened. All this time, he had believed the incident was a tragic misunderstanding. Now he was learning that it may have been orchestrated. The judge called for order as the courtroom descended into chaos. One name kept surfacing as Michael spoke, one name no one expected to hear, someone respected, someone trusted, someone who had carefully stayed in the background. When Michael finally said the name out loud, the reaction was immediate. Shock, disbelief, denial. The accused individual stood up, visibly shaken, insisting Michael was lying. They claimed Michael was acting out of loyalty, twisting facts to protect Drew. But Michael didn't back down. He admitted that he had stayed silent for too long. Fear, loyalty, and family ties had kept him quiet, but watching Drew face consequences for something he didn't cause pushed him past his breaking point. "I won't let this continue," Michael said firmly, "not when I know the truth." Drew struggled to hold himself together. Betrayal cut deeper than any accusation ever could. Alexis quickly requested a recess, knowing the trial had entered dangerous territory. Outside the courtroom, conversations exploded. Reporters scrambled. Phones buzzed with breaking news alerts across Port Charles. Inside a private room, Drew confronted Michael. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" Drew asked quietly. Michael's voice cracked. "Because I was afraid of what it would destroy." Drew nodded slowly. He understood that fear all too well. Meanwhile, the person Michael accused faced mounting pressure. Their allies began to distance themselves. Old alliances fractured, and the walls they had built to protect themselves began to crumble. When court resumed, the judge made a shocking decision. The trial would not proceed as planned. An investigation was ordered. Testimonies would be reviewed, evidence re-examined, and for the first time, Drew felt hope. But hope came at a cost, because exposing the truth meant unleashing consequences that would ripple far beyond the courtroom. Carly feared what this revelation could do to her family. Willow questioned everything she thought she knew, and Michael, though relieved, knew he had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. As the day ended, Drew stood alone, staring out at the courthouse steps. His life had changed forever, not because of the incident itself, but because the truth finally coming to light. One question remained unanswered. Was Michael's revelation the end of the nightmare, or just the beginning? In Port Charles, the truth never stays buried for long, and when it surfaces, it always demands a price.